Hello there and welcome back at Cozy Club to yet another video for Disney Sorcerer's Arena. And today we're going to be talking about how to best prepare for the new upcoming Hercules Raid. Now, we've only been teased on the raid. We don't know all too much outside a little bit from the devs Q&A and then kind of what the base mechanics are. However, these game modes usually play out the same way, and there's definitely ways that you can best prepare yourself, whether you're free to play, pay to play, whatever it might be. It looks to me that we're probably going to have a few weeks to prepare for this raid to drop, and we know that it's coming soon. And so on today's video, we're going to break down all the characters I think you should farm, what you should be doing, and the best tips and tricks to prepare for the Hercules Raid. And get ready, because I've got a good feeling this one's going to be tough. Now, through the clubs, there's not a lot you can prepare outside of just recruiting, but I do feel like we're going to need all 50 members in our club. I think this one's going to be really tough and really get the community, especially our clubs, together here. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. Alrighty, friends. Well, we are here in the Hercules game screen. What a way to start out. Now, funny enough, I'm not going to really say much about the Hercules crew. I mean, you should be going for them anyway. Hercules is already such an incredible character in the game. Let me pull up the Hercules crew here. You know, I'm curious to see still how they're going to kind of build this all in and if there's going to be raid-specific characters. But I'm hard-pressed to think that most of these people are not going to be legit, especially because we're going to be getting Zeus from this entire raid. So this is kind of like a side subject, not the main topic. But if you are kind of looking at the mythicals and if you should farm them next, definitely now is the time to start. Hercules is probably going to be useful in the raid. I have pretty big confidence in that. And then who knows? We might see Hermes, Pegasus, Meg, and Phil also get that viability. So on today's video, let's go ahead and kind of talk about what we can best do to get you guys prepared for this raid and kind of what I'm doing and best practices as well. Now, first and foremost, with the raid, Cozy Club, we know there's some roles in these characters that are more important than others. So, for instance, we know that cleansers and healers are going to be very vital within the raid just because of how the harmful and helpful effects work in this game. My best guess is we're going to still need cleansing, and I think harmful effects are going to still just be pouring on into this game, and that's just how it's best controlled and how the enemy computer best controls you as a live player. So I think that cleansing and healers is going to be our first thing we're going to talk about today. Tip number one is to be going after these certain characters. Now, the first character I'm going to talk about today is Esmeralda. Esmeralda, guys, you should be going after her anyway, as she's great in the Ascension campaign and other places within the game. But Esmeralda is going to be, in my opinion, just absolutely clutch for this raid. She's got a huge cleanse here, especially when she gets to the next gear, whenever that might come with the raid. But she's got a ginormous cleanse. On top of that, she's able to reduce turn meter massively. I think Esmeralda is a very safe character for you guys to invest in, put your gear into, and definitely start getting her leveled up and ready to go. Because I have good confidence in knowing that if T8 kind of barely scratched by that Ursula raid, this one's going to kick our butts, and I think Tier 9 is going to be highly needed, and we're probably going to have a tough time at first. But Esmeralda, great place to dump your resources. You're going to use her all over the game, and definitely the first cleanser I wanted to talk about today. Now, there's a lot of different cleansers. Compared to when the Ursula raid came out, right? We're having loads more of cleansers within the game, so let's talk about them. Now, obviously, BAYMAX, guys. Bay, the big doctor here, is still most likely going to be a raid MVP. I don't see how his auto taunt, his cleansing, his invincibility that he gives, I think that BAYMAX is near the top of the list of legendary farms. If you're just now starting out, or you're kind of rolling with the punches, you're a few months in, or you've been playing for a while and just haven't prioritized, Hercules would be probably the first legendary I would go for, and then BAYMAX for this raid. Definitely check out my farming guide up above if you want to know who to go for in what order, if you want to be the most bang for your buck heavy. But for the raid, I think BAYMAX and Hercules are going to both be very advantageous for your team. And then lastly, guys, two other ones that are going to, you know, really wanting to find bang for your buck characters, if you will. And Pocahontas is obviously going to be a great healer in the raid. She's phenomenal, has a great leadership. Definitely farm Poca if you're looking for another cleanser to have. And you really can never have enough. I mean, the main point that you want to do now that we've got, you know, some more save spots is start making some mock-up teams. Start looking at how many tanks you have on each team, who synergizes well, what cleansers and what healers, and then most importantly, what damage dealers but damage dealers come by a lot more often. And these are going to be the 4 characters I recommend at least farming, going towards saving, and maybe putting that gear towards these characters, because I have a feeling that harmful effects are going to be utilized in this raid to a massive degree, probably no matter what. And the good news is, if there's a harder phase than others, they have told us that we'll be able to select the phase, and so that's going to help out, get away from, going against Glut first. But cleansers is definitely the first thing you want to focus on. Now, while keeping it in the characters here and keeping the focus heavy, let's talk about 2 characters that I think are going to be essential. One of which are going to be pretty easy to get if you've been playing for a good amount, and the other one not so much, but I think is going to be pretty vital. Now, this is where I think Miguel is going to be both a blessing and a curse. Now, let me tell you this. I think Miguel's days are numbered. And I say that because I truly believe that Zeus is going to be the leader of the Mythicals moving forward. I think it's going to be 6 months before we get Zeus, just with how the raid unlock works. But I just think Miguel, his time is going to be up eventually. However, he's going to have a very solid use for a while. You're going to need to get a star level up if you want to use him in the raid. That's what kind of stinks about it. The Summoner Showdown is making that a little bit easier. However, Miguel is going to be giving the Mythicals the lead that they're going to need in the raid. They're most likely, we talked about this on my Twitch stream, I have a good feeling that the Mythicals might get a faction bonus within the raid. They do that in these other games, how certain characters get certain bonuses within the raid. And I think Miguel is going to amp up those Mythicals a little bit more. We're talking about the raid a lot the next couple weeks, so go ahead and check out my Twitch channel, guys. You can find that in the description below. But moving on, I think Miguel is going to be a big one, and I think that they're giving away his tokens for a reason. So Miguel definitely up there. The other pick that I have, and this one you should already have, especially if you've been playing the game, King Triton. Now, notice here, guys, on his leadership ability, King Triton, this is not raid specific. All of this is just for, it's not just for the Forbidden Deaths. This is for any raid. And so I think that King Triton is going to be important. I think that he's going to be important to at least have a good damage team out the gate. We're going to have to learn all of the mechanics for this raid and what works and what doesn't. And that's what's going to be really exciting. Trust me, guys. I know a lot of you out there don't want this to be hard. Yeah, you do. You want this to last, and you want us to be able to theory craft and have some fun with this. But King Triton and Miguel are the 2 leaderships / cleansers that kind of get the best bang for your buck. So if you're looking where to start, my opinion is, yeah, BAYMAX is amazing, obviously. But King Triton, Miguel, and then ESMERALDA would be the ones I would personally go after, farm after, if you haven't gone for those characters. Now, lastly, to wrap up the character base here, let's just quickly talk about some tanks. Obviously, Beast is important. Beast is tough to get because of the characters that are, kind of around him. However, taking a look at somebody who's been fixed, and yes, it's someone that is in theme with the raids, it's going to be Prince Eric. Now, Prince Eric, not only is he just a handsome fella, but he is just great within the raids, I'll be honest. Now that they've fixed his crit immunity, the way that he works, the entire kit that he has built is for the raids. You can see kind of all in his kit here. I've taken my Prince Eric up to gear 8. You obviously don't have to go up to gear 8, but I think he's going to be a vital asset to take a lot of the damage. If you think about Hercules, we have the Hydra, we have the River Monster, and then we have the Titans. Unless we play all the Titans at once, I feel like it's going to be a lot of single target damage, and he's great for soaking that up, but he's also great for kind of protecting the whole team with defense up and crit up. So Prince Eric, if you haven't gone after him, get him an Ariel. You're going to get Triton. Focus on getting those Little Mermaid tunes if you ignored them, because yes, the Forbidden Deaths was pretty easy, and you can have someone in your club pretty much carry the load. So those are the ones, those are the specific characters that I would go for. But let's talk about something outside of characters, right? Something outside of characters. And that's going to be essentially, guys, a couple things. You guys can see I have been farming and hoarding my raid tokens like crazy. Now, I learned my lesson when I played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I have essentially tried not to buy anything with my raid tokens for a very long time. And that's because they're called raid coins, right? They're called raid coins. They're not called tokens. They're called coins. They're not called Forbidden Deaths or anything like that. So my guess and my wonder is, are they going to update the store? Is Gear 9 going to make its way into the store through this, or the Gear 8 extra pieces? Are we going to get new characters in there? Let me tell you guys a story. In Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, they had this store that people were using because there's useful stuff in there. There's great things within the raid store. However, then they dropped a new character and no one had enough tokens to get them. So if you are buying stuff with your raid coins, just for now, just for a month, guys, hold on to them. We don't know and it's better safe than sorry. So hold on to your raid coins. That's my next kind of bit of advice. That's at least what I'm doing to kind of give myself a little bit of leg room for when things come out into the game. Now, lastly, I want to talk about gear and should you be, you know, upgrading characters and going through your farming path, and yes and no. I'm going to say this. If I was free to play, I would be hoarding my gear right now because you just don't know who's going to be important. Now, we gave our best guesses, but again, Glue can really decide whatever they want at the end of the day. And so I would hold on to your gear. There's nothing pressing outside of Summoner's Showdown, which if you want to go ahead and invest in those characters to get them up to gear 3 or 4, that's okay. But just hoard. We're only... I can't imagine this raid coming out more than a month from now. So that's not that much hoarding. You should be at a good position either way or either way. And so that's going to be my main tips, guys. It's going to be hoarding the raid coins, getting the gear and hoarding that, and then most importantly, going after these focus characters. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you guys have any tips that are going to help out other people too to best prep for the raid? Are y'all excited? Oh man. It's going to be the best. I cannot wait. We'll be there on launch day for sure. And definitely looking forward to it. Now, I will be going to Hawaii next week. What's up? Aloha. And we'll still be having content. You guys are going to see both the content that I've been putting out on the channel lately. But fingers crossed, guys. Super excited about what is to come. My friends, thank you so much for checking out the channel and coming on over. If you haven't already, subscribe because it helps out the channel a lot. And comment down below, like the video. You guys know the drill. And, you know, don't stay comfortable. No one wants to be comfortable. Stay cozy.